Welcome to Live Interactive English, everyone. I am Mike.
And I am Winnie.
And today we are going to be doing a very interesting and important article.
Yes.
It's about heart disease, the hidden killer. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's safe to say this is important because I'm no doctor, but your heart is important.
Super
I'm pretty
important.
sure about that. Again, no years of medical school, no training in this, but I'm pretty sure the heart in your body, the thing that, pumps and moves blood around and the blood carries oxygen and other things. And
pretty important.
Kind of keeps you alive. It's important. If I had to give up one body part, I think heart would be pretty much, well, maybe brain or heart.
Yeah,
Both very
okay,
important.
I see what you mean. I actually would put brain below, because you could have a fake heart.
True.
Yeah, but if you, to put it in simpler terms, if you are a car, that's your engine.
That is your engine, exactly right.
So you want to protect that engine.
You do, but of course, like a car engine or like many things that are very important, we need to take care of it.
Yes.
We need to make the right decisions. And we also cannot get too relaxed. You might be saying, well, I'm young. I have many years to live. I can, eat junk food and not exercise and do all these things which are bad for your heart.
Yeah.
Because I have years to take care of it. It won't bother me ever or not for a long time. Wrong! Incorrect. It can actually be a problem for lots of people at any stage in your life.
Very
but
true.
there are sensible things you should do.
All right, well, today's article is called Heart Disease, the Hidden Killer.
Heart disease is a major threat that we should all be aware of. It may not be discussed as often as cancer or as frightening as diseases like Ebola, but it is a serious issue for people around the world. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, ischemic heart disease is the world's leading cause of death. It is responsible for around 13% of global deaths and has been on the rise for years. Between 2000 and 2021, deaths from heart disease increased from 2.7 million per year to 9 million.
All right, today's article is Heart Disease, the Hidden Killer. Let's get it started. Heart disease is a major threat that we should all be aware of. It may not be discussed as often as cancer or as frightening as diseases like Ebola, but it is a serious issue for people around the world. And of course, we have this word frightening, and that is something that causes fear, something that we are afraid of. For example, walking alone at night can feel frightening in some parts of the world. That is true.
Yeah, not generally in Taiwan, but yes, in some parts of the world, you can be scared. It can be scary. Scary and frightening kind of mean the same thing. And yeah, definitely, heart disease is something that is scary. It definitely kills more people than those scary or frightening diseases like Ebola. Ebola probably kills maybe 100 or a few thousand people when it gets bad in some parts of the world. But heart disease, millions of people die from this all around the world. Yes, so that's where we're going to talk about it. But first, let's go to Hanny. Her heart is amazing.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课程主题是心脏病。心脏病不像癌症那样常常被讨论，也不像伊波拉、COVID 等等疾病那样令人恐惧。但是对于全球民众来说，它都是一个严重的问题。好，来看单字 frightening。frightening 这个形容词，它是形容令人恐惧的、害人的。那这边有一个重点是 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as 点点点是表达跟什么什么一样。那这是形容词或副词的原级比较句型。第二个 as 后面可以接名词或子句。那子句的动词如果跟前面一样的话，是可以省略的，或者是也可以用助动词代替。举例来说 ，mental health is as important as physical health。心理健康与生理健康一样重要。那看到第二个例句 ，Joan doesn't travel as often as her sister does， 或者是 as often as her sister。Joan 不像她姐姐一样常去旅行。 再比较一个用法是 as 形容词或副词 as possible 或者是 as one can 是表达尽可能的怎么样，尽量的怎么样。例如 I try to keep my room as clean as possible 也可以说 I try to keep my room as clean as I can 我尽量让房间保持干净。这句话课文中
All right, heart disease is bad. Yes, we know that. But how bad is it? Well, here's a very surprising or shocking statistic. It says, according to the World Health Organization, the WHO, which is the United Nations group, which looks at health around the world, so they should know, ischemic heart disease is the world's leading cause of death.
Wow.
It's not cancer, it's not car crashes, it's not being eaten by a dinosaur. It's ischemic heart disease, which is basically when your heart is not pumping enough blood. It doesn't go to your brain. You have what we call a stroke, and that can, of course, affect your life or kill you.
Yeah.
Heart attacks would be another part. I don't even know if heart attacks are ischemic heart disease. That would be another thing. And high blood pressure is often the thing that leads to a stroke, a heart attack. But it's also the thing that can warn you that you are getting in trouble with your heart. So all of these things are important to pay attention to and act on if anything looks bad.
Well said, Mike. Let's continue on.
Okay.
It is responsible for around 13% of global deaths and has been on the rise for years.
Wow.
Between 2000 and 2021, deaths from heart disease increased from 2.7 million per year to 9 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's like times 3 in 20 years.
More than that, yeah.
So when we talk about a percent, this is something you'll see, of course, in math class, but also when we study things, when we're trying to understand big numbers, you know, in statistics or economics or science and other places. Percent just means out of 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say half, 1/2, or I can say 0.5, which would be the same, or I can say 50%. So 50 out of 100, which of course is 1/2. And yeah, when we're looking at big numbers like, 10% of people watch this show on Netflix or 40% of people plan to go to another country for their holiday, it's much better than saying 390,000 people watch this show or 4.73 million people will go on holiday. So it kind of helps us understand big numbers by putting them out of 100. So we can see if it's a little or a lot out of 100.
Yeah.
For example, the store took 20% off the price during the sale. So now that thing will be 80% of the normal price. 80 out of 100.
Wow. So this is actually the leading cause of death.
Yeah.
And I for one, didn't know that. I would have thought cancer.
There's a lot of ways to die.
There are, and let's hope this next person doesn't die. It's Hanny. Let's go to her.
There's a 100% chance she will not.
Okay.
根据世界卫生组织，缺血性心脏病是全球首要死因，占全球死亡人数约13%，而且多年来持续上升。在2000年到2021年间，心脏病年死亡人数从270万上升到900万。我们来看看单字 percent。percent 这个名词表示百分之多少。那么 Mike 老师在解释单字时有提到 statistics。statistics 它表示统计数据或资料。当这个意思解释时，常常用复数型。那这个单字也可以表达统计学，这时候是不可数名词。另外，文中用到 be responsible for 加名词，这时候是表达是什么什么的原因，它也可以表达对什么什么负责。那在文中是表达某事物造成什么什么的死亡，相当于占了多少比例的语义。再看到 on the rise，on the rise 表示在增长中，在上升中的意思。那我们接着回到课文中。
All right, thank you so much, Hanny. Let's go on to the second part of the article, and we'll be right back.
While the risk of heart disease increases as people age, the disease can affect anyone. People with diets heavy in saturated fats and salt risk developing high blood pressure, which in turn can lead to heart disease. Unfortunately, heart disease can be hard to detect because its symptoms are often subtle and easy to ignore. However, if someone you know suffers from things like shortness of breath or swelling in the legs, they should probably consult a doctor. Still, there are ways we can reduce the risk. For example, we should eat a balanced diet and exercise regularly to do our best to maintain a healthy heart throughout life.
All right, we are back with this very important but also very interesting look at heart disease. It is the cause of death of, 13% of people these days. And of course, cancer would be in there, car accidents, who knows what else, COVID some years. So it is a very serious problem, and it can lead to heart attacks and stroke. And of course, people can live with high blood pressure if they don't take care of themselves. Now, you might be saying, yeah, but I'm young. You know, this might be a problem for my parents or my grandparents, but I'm a young person. No, heart disease is something that can be a serious problem for people at almost any age.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, I've heard of babies being born and they have to have a heart operation.
Yeah.
So it is something that affects people no matter where they live, how old they are, anything like that.
Yep. Continuing on with the article, while the risk of heart disease increases as people age,
Of course.
the disease can affect anyone, just like you were saying. You're not safe just because you're under the age of 50. You know, there's still a risk.
Absolutely. And like I said, with that baby who was born that way or someone who develops this because of, you know, their body, the way they were born, that is one thing. But there are many other things that you can do right and wrong to either raise or lower your danger from heart disease. As it says, this is good advice. People with diets heavy in saturated fats and salt risk developing high blood pressure, which in turn can lead to heart disease.
Yeah, so you got to watch out what you eat.
Definitely. Having a lazy, relaxed, couch potato, fried chicken eating lifestyle may be fun, but it's definitely not good for you.
Yeah.
And you are on the highway to heart disease, my friend.
Right.
So choices matter.
Unfortunately, heart disease can be hard to detect because its symptoms are often subtle and easy to ignore. Yeah, we have this word unfortunately. That just means unluckily or in a bad way. So for example, unfortunately, we didn't have the time to finish the puzzle. So fortunately would be great. I finished the puzzle in time.
Yeah. But bad luck, didn't work out the way you hoped. So yes, it can be hard to detect heart disease. When you detect something, you basically know something is there through some kind of process. With our senses, we can detect things. We can hear things. Hey, did you hear that? Sounds like someone just came through that door. You can detect smells by smell. Is that smoke? Maybe there's a fire there. Or of course, you can detect things through touch, right? Even in the dark, you can touch things in your bedroom. Oh, there's my book, there's my phone, there's the lamp, even without light. And of course, with science, we can use tests, we can use special equipment. With heart disease, you can check your blood pressure. You know, that thing they put around your arm and it squeezes, it gives you a number. 130 over 70 is pretty good. 190 over 2 or over 100, that's getting into danger territory there. So it is hard to detect. It's not like COVID or the flu. Oh, I feel really sick. You're probably sick. You don't sort of feel high blood pressure like that. So it's hard to find or discover or detect. For example, the camera can detect movement in the dark. That's pretty cool.
All right, well, let's go and see what Hanny has to say.
虽然心脏病风险随年龄增长而上升，但是任何人都可能受到影响。课文提到说，饮食中含有大量饱和脂肪和盐分的人容易罹患高血压，而高血压又可能导致心脏病。那么遗憾的是，心脏病往往难以察觉，因为症状通常不明显，容易被忽略掉。好，来看单字 unfortunately。Unfortunately 这个副词表示令人遗憾的、不幸的，那么或者是表达可惜的。再看到 detect 这个动词表示察觉、发现或者是测出、检测。文中的补充单字 saturated 它是形容饱和的，那么 saturated fat 它是表达饱和脂肪。再看到 subtle 是形容词，形容不易察觉的、细微的。那我们接着回到课文中。
All right, thank you so much, Hanny. Let's continue on with the article. However, if someone you know suffers from things like shortness of breath or swelling in the legs
are so fat.
They should probably consult a doctor. And of course, to consult a doctor means just to ask someone for advice. For example, Dylan consulted his teacher before starting the project. In this case, especially for things that are medically related, don't ask Google. If you don't know, just go and ask a real doctor.
Google tells
not
you
an AI doctor.
Google tells you everything is cancer.
Yes, that's true.
If you hurt your fingernail, that could be cancer.
Yeah.
Well, it could be, but not likely.
Yeah.
And those symptoms, those signs, the shortness of breath, it's hard to catch your breath. It feels like you've just been running when you haven't been.
Right.
Or the swelling legs, the kind of fat legs. Those can be caused by lots of things. And for heart disease, those are signs that it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So as we said, check your blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
They have these
Keep an
free
eye on
ones
that.
in a hospital, in a clinic. You can buy one, keep it at home. It's a good thing to do. And here's other good advice. It says, still, even though there are dangers, even though this is a big problem, still, there are ways we can reduce the risk. There are also choices you can make to get better, to help your body. It says, for example, we should eat a balanced diet and exercise regularly to do our best to maintain a healthy heart throughout life. So make good choices when you're choosing food, salads and fruits and all that stuff. You guys know doctors tell us this all the time because it's true.
Yeah.
And also get regular exercise. It doesn't mean you have to be a professional athlete ready to run a marathon anytime, but walking instead of driving, taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator, having a walk in the park after dinner even every day. That all is good for you.
Take care of your body because it's the only one you've got. You know who's really healthy? Hanny.
Oh, she can run a mile in a second.
I don't think that's
that fast. No, that fast.
Okay. Well, let's go see Hanny.
Mike 老师又在乱讲，怎么可能1秒跑1英里？又不是悟空会瞬间移动。好，那么课文提到说，如果身边有人出现呼吸急促或者是腿部肿胀等症状，或许应该咨询医生。那大家平常也要注意，要均衡饮食、规律运动，努力维持心脏的健康。好，来看单字 consult。consult 动词，它表示咨询、请教或者是有查阅的意思。那这边一个重点是 if 引导条件句。首先 if 引导条件句可以表示未来可能发生的情况，那这时候 if 子句的动词要用现在式代替未来式。举例来说 ，If you want to improve your grades, you should study harder. 如果你想提升成绩，就应该更用功。再来 if 引导条件句也可以去描述普遍真理、科学事实或者是习惯性动作，那么主要子句要用现在简单式。例如 If you mix red and blue, you get purple. 如果将红色和蓝色混合，就会得到紫色。好，接华课文中。
All right, thank you so much, Hanny. This was a very illuminating article. I learned a lot.
Yes, and it's always good to be reminded of these things.
Yeah, so remember everyone to go and get your checkups, eat healthy, get some regular exercise. We're going to review this article and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, take care of yourselves, guys, because, we want you to be as healthy as possible.
Bye-bye.
Heart disease is a major threat that we should all be aware of. It may not be discussed as often as cancer or as frightening as diseases like Ebola, but it is a serious issue for people around the world. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, ischemic heart disease is the world's leading cause of death. It is responsible for around 13% of global deaths and has been on the rise for years. Between 2000 and 2021, deaths from heart disease increased from 2.7 million per year to 9 million. While the risk of heart disease increases as people age, the disease can affect anyone. People with diets heavy in saturated fats and salt risk developing high blood pressure, which in turn can lead to heart disease. Unfortunately, heart disease can be hard to detect because its symptoms are often subtle and easy to ignore. However, if someone you know suffers from things like shortness of breath or swelling in the legs, they should probably consult a doctor. Still, there are ways we can reduce the risk. For example, we should eat a balanced diet and exercise regularly to do our best to maintain a healthy heart throughout life.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 frightening 形容词，形容令人恐惧的、害人的。percent 名词，表示百分之点点点。unfortunately 副词，表示令人遗憾的、不幸的或可惜的。detect 动词，表示察觉、发现或是有测出、检测的意思。consult 动词，表示咨询、请教或者是查阅。文法的部分，第一个学到 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as 点点点，可以表达跟什么什么一样。第二个学到了 if 引导条件句，首先它可以表示未来可能发生的情况，这时候 if 子句动词要用现在式代替未来式。再来，它可以描述普遍真理、科学事实或习惯性动作，这时候主要子句要用现在简单式。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Welcome to Which One Fits, the game where we tackle confusing English words.
I'm really excited about this one.
Today, we're going to sort out the difference between house and home.
Let's quickly go over the rules before we start.
In Which One Fits, we'll read a sentence with a blank, and you have to choose between house and home.
So, join us and challenge your English intuition.
All right, here's your first sentence. After a long day at work, I'm glad to be back blank. Which one fits?
I think that's home.
Spot on. Home refers to the place where you live or feel like you belong. Next sentence. The blank is made of brick and has a steep roof. Which one fits?
That would be house.
Got it again. House refers to the physical building that people live in. Great job! You crushed both questions. All right, time to break it down.
First, house is a noun that refers to the physical building where people live. For example, the family bought a house with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Right. It focuses on the structure itself, not necessarily the feelings connected to it.
In contrast, home is a noun that describes the place where you live and feel a sense of belonging. For example, after being away for months, she couldn't wait to be home with her partner and kids.
So it's all about the emotional connection, not just the building itself.
Simply put, house is about the physical place, while home is about the feeling of being settled and comfortable there.
It's easy once you know the difference.
And get this, a sentence can use both words. The newlyweds moved into a house in the suburbs, and it quickly became their cozy home.
So a house becomes a home when it's filled with comfort and belonging.
Right. And now you'll never mix them up again.
Until next time, keep learning.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.